Yeah, that's Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, suggesting that he has proof, his absolute proof, that it was the rebels who used the poison gas and not operatives from the Assad regime in Syria. So Russia says it was the rebels, and even if we discredit as propaganda Putin's propaganda, his allegations that it was the rebels who used the poison gas, you still have to understand that the President of the United States has yet to show the world hard evidence that it was indeed Assad and his criminal regime that did it. Craig investigates.
The video is